Good morning and welcome sa Renewed Day by Day. My name is Israel. And for today, we will continue our lesson entitled The Rise and Fall of Nations, Daniel chapter 2, verses 31 to 40. So yesterday, we stopped at 4 different empires represented by the big statue. Let me read verses 32 to 33 on Daniel chapter 2 as a review. The head of that statue was made of fine gold, its breast and its arms of silver, its belly and its thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. Let's review the head of gold. So it represents King Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon. We mentioned yesterday that the Babylonians are preoccupied by gold. That is why it is represented by the head of gold. Second is the breast and arms of silver. We also mentioned yesterday that silver represents the Medes and the Persians. When the breast and arms were mentioned, it also signifies that the Medo-Persian Empire have a division and there was an absence of solidarity. It is also good to take note that all of these succeeding empires are not inferior to Babylon in terms of power and growth of territory. Now let's move on to the third succeeding empire, which is mentioned as belly and thighs of bronze. So this is the Greek Empire. Kasi after ng Medo-Persian Empire in history, ang sumunod dun is the Greek Empire. And the famous leader for the Greek Empire is Alexander the Great. Also, I want you to notice that this empire is characterized by bronze. Bronze is not as valuable as gold and silver. Pero bakit bronze ang ginamit? Because when you see a Greek soldier, pag nakakita ka ng Greek soldier, yung helmet nila is made of brass. Their armor is also made of brass. Also their shield and their sword is made of brass. Kaya ang ginamit na representation sa Greek Empire is bronze. At ang ikaapat, ang legs of iron, the Roman Empire, the succeeding empire after the Greeks. But why is the Roman Empire represented as iron? Kasi, putting it in simplest form, the Roman Empire is the strongest of them all. Let me give you a bird's eye view of the duration of each empire. So the first one is Babylon, lasted 70 years. The Medo-Persian Empire lasted around 200 years. The Greek Empire also lasted 200 years. And the Roman Empire lasted around 500 years. They are so strong as they are characterized in verse 40. Anong sinabi ng verse 40 dito sa empire na ito? Iron crushes and shatters all things. That is why the Romans are represented with the iron. And finally, I don't know if you will see this clearly. This is the timeline of this prophecy. You can see that it is shown by God, the different succeeding empires from the time of Daniel. Now going back, when Daniel interpreted the dream, the king fell on his face. Pagkatapos niyang interpret yung dream, kaharap si King Nebuchadnezzar. At pagkatapos nun, Daniel and his friends got promoted administrators to the province of Babylon. Now, let's move on to the lessons from Daniel chapter 2. Ano ba yung natutunan natin? So number 1 is, human wisdom is futile. Kasi the wise men of Babylon could not help the king. So the divine viewpoint from the Bible doctrine overcomes the futility of man. Second, knowledge of Bible doctrine strengthens faith and provides confidence. And that's all for this morning. I hope na may natutunan kayo. This is Israel. I'll see you again next week.